to the logo on my chest and tell them, slam the ego, slam the ego, slam the ego, slam the a. Hit it up hard, hit it with a strike. From the national anthem to the bottom of the night. I'm in slam the ego, slam the ego, slam the ego, slam the a. You already know what's up. What's that? Another home run. We should know the job ain't done till we hold that trophy up. Hey.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Talking Friars here on this Sunday night. Padres and the Nationals to start off this post All-Star break regular season for the Padres. Obviously, the postseason as the goal, and right now, the Padres are in a good spot for that. Things are trending in the right direction. They take 2 out of 3, which that's great to see. Love to see that. I know the Nationals, they're not a great team. They fired their manager, they fired their GM already this year, but can't take away these wins. Like every other National League team gets to play the Nationals, and so take advantage of it. Would you want to sweep them, win that middle game, especially when Darvish is the starter? Yeah, but I'm not really going to be complaining too much about a 2 out of 3 series win, obviously on the road to start off again this post All Star break stretch. I am again like restarting this whole StreamYard thing, so it's not perfect right now with the layout and all that, but I'm trying. I've been busy with work, and I'm trying to get it back to how it was. Um, so bear with me there. But I just want to check the chat real quick. Please let me know if the audio is good, because I don't want to be talking for a half an hour, 20 minutes, whatever, and the audio not be good. So someone in the chat, tell me it's good, and then I will get started. Audio's good. Awesome. Thank you, Total Baseball. Appreciate it. All right. So today, Padres, they got the win 8-1. Slam Diego, huh? It hadn't happened this year before Friday when Manny hit that one to open that one up, make it, blow that thing wide open. That was great. And then today, you know, first inning, I was settling in, 10:30 in the morning. All right, gonna have some good, nice morning baseball to watch, maybe a competitive game, and then boom. I mean, I'm totally fine with it. I'm a Padres fan, obviously, but just blow it right open right there, and it was against Mackenzie Gore too, and so that makes it even better. Not that I hate Mackenzie Gore because I don't, but obviously there's the Nationals were talking crap on social media about fleeced and how they won the trade and all that. Their GM's gone, their manager's gone. Yes, James Wood is great. We'll see about Robert Hassel. Gore was an all-star this year. I'm not saying one start, says everything. But that was still a fun feeling, a good feeling to see the Padres end up getting that win. Um, sorry, I'm a little distracted. I'm watching the Wave Friendly against Utah at the same time right now. That one is 2-2 right now. But anyway, like with Gore, I mean, it seemed like it was a lot of missed spots today. That's what I saw. Elias Diaz got a home run as well. As for like backup catcher, because I want an upgrade at catcher offensively for backup catcher, I would say, yeah, I'm good with Elias Diaz. And I know Schilt will praise Martin Maldonado and what he brings to the staff and the pitching staff success with Martin Maldonado catching. But you go look at Dylan Cease's start the other night on Friday, right, to start that series. Who did he pitch to? Elias Diaz. Who was Cease's personal catcher? It was Maldonado, not Diaz. They flip it around. Not saying the catcher is everything. Dylan Cease obviously had to execute. Like props to him, but that is something to watch because I assume Diaz will be catching Dylan Cease the next time out as well. And who am I taking offensively? I'm taking Diaz. Who has the better arm? I mean, I feel like this is just the eye test. I feel like it's pretty close between those two. So, like, I'm taking Diaz over Maldonado. There's no doubt. So, hopefully, the Padres can upgrade at the catching position somehow. And I don't want to just like be picky on the bottom of the lineup because you go around to even postseason contending teams, and the bottom of the lineup is not going to be as talented as the top. That's why it's the bottom of the lineup, right? But when you're trying to create as well of a well-rounded team as possible, when the catchers aren't, producing really at all offensively, with the sample size that we have, that we've seen, you want that upgrade. Kyle Higashioka is a name that is, I feel like, is going to get floated around by Padres fans because it would be prorated. You're not paying the entire salary for this year, so maybe the Padres would be more willing to do that. But at the same time, I know that people would be like, well, Higgy, the Padres actually made a good decision not bringing him back. Like, he came into the Padres series with, what, one home run or something like that? He was sitting bottom of the order. Like, he was not the Higgy that he was at Petco. But what I would say to that is kind of like Jurickson Profar. Profar is a Padre. Like, he makes sense. He fits the Padres, fits the ballpark. There's something about the club out. There's something about that it's just like, yep, Profar fits. And I feel like Higgy's that same guy. So it won't be the salary that he was making at the beginning of the year. I know they pick up next year, but there's salary that's being cleared off the books. I believe it's Haas's last year on the books, so that clears up some money. Cease isn't going to come back, I wouldn't think. Michael King's probably not going to come back. Um, I mean, maybe that's more of a question mark. Maybe they'll bring back one of those guys, but money's going to be cleared off. Luis Ariz, if he wants $13 million a year, I don't think the Padres are going to give him that. So he probably could be gone too. So it does create some room there to maybe open back a Higgy reunion. He loved being with the Padres, is what it seems like. So I would, I want to float the Higgy thing out there just because I'd love to have Higgy come in here. I'm not saying that he would produce like he did last year and hit 20 home runs, including the few that he hit in the postseason, but I feel like there would be better offensive production than what we're getting from the catching position. I know that's a low bar, but that's just what I got on that. So while it was good to see Diaz hit that homer, you still want the upgrade and preferably to have Maldonado off the roster, have an upgrade come in, have Elias Diaz be the backup. Uh, Maybe they have Diaz be the starter and have whoever comes in be the backup. Even if that happens, it's probably still a better catching situation than what we've got right now with Maldonado. Um, I know Schilt, though, will praise Maldonado and will want to back up Maldonado. But at the same time, I think this was before the All-Star break. He actually like dug at the catching position as much as he could. He was just like, well, and I'm not quoting him, but essentially, I'm dealing with the parts that I have. You do your best with the parts that you have. And so for me, that was like as politely as Schilt is going to, well, he's always going to be polite and talking about his players, but like that's him nudging AJ, like, go get me some help with the catching position, man. What do you want me to do here? So we'll see what happens there. As for Dylan Cease on that Friday game, I think it was encouraging for sure. 5 1/3, no earned runs, 10 strikeouts. Really good. Maybe Nationals fans are going to get excited because they're like, hey, Dylan Cease dominates us. He must love pitching on this Nationals Park mound. Maybe the Nationals can give him a bunch of money. Not saying that would fit the Nationals because they're not going to be contending next year, I wouldn't imagine. But yeah, there's something obviously with a no hitter. And then the other day, like that's if we not that Dylan Cease because he's not going to give up no runs and walk nobody and strike out double digits every time out. But you get what I'm saying. If you can get the top flight free agent starting pitcher, Dylan Cease, that type of guy, then you got Darvish, King hopefully here mid-August is what I saw lately from Kevin Acee. Pavetta arguably could have been an all-star this year as a starting pitcher, as a replacement over guys that like had 5 games, like that one Milwaukee guy. But anyway, you look at that and in the postseason, right? Give me 4 starters, and then you add another bullpen arm, and you have the dominant bullpen that the Padres have, and the talent the Padres have in the lineup. We know that those guys can produce. It's a matter of are they going to show up in the biggest moments? Can they do it consistently? You get that all going, and I know that's way easier said than done, but you get that going, then this is a World Series team, you would feel like. At least NLCS, a team that could beat the Dodgers. But obviously, that's a long way down the road, and a lot of things have to click. But yeah, Morejon came out, no runs there. I know Adam gave up a couple, but Estrada came in an inning, no runs for him. And actually, as I'm talking about the bullpen, that reminds me of Breaking T's shirt, the 4 Horsemen that they just released. If you go on YouTube, you go to my posts, I have a link there. It's on social media. If you scroll down on my Twitter, it's there. Or click the link in the description. And I don't even look, sounds awesome to say this. I don't have to say, hey, I'll put the description up after this. No, the description's already there because I'm back on StreamYard. So just click the link in the description with Breaking Tea, and they've got that shirt that they just released, and they've got a lot of other Padres player graphic tees as well. Um, which bullpen would you rather have? Last year with Tanner Scott, or this year the way it's going with Morhone and Adam and Suarez Estrada? I mean, I would think I would pick last year because right, Morhone was still in the bull, but you're getting last year's version of Morhone, not this year. Last year with the Padres bullpen, though, I'm probably, and maybe I should pick this year, but last year it just felt like at the time, man, with this bullpen, this is their best shot to go win the whole thing because Tanner Scott's nasty, and just the way that he was pitching, it was like, ooh, no one wants to face that bullpen. So that's a tough choice between this year's bullpen and last year's, back end of the bullpen. That's what I'm talking about, like the big four guys, right? But that's a good problem to have because last year we know was great, and if it's even a question if you take this year or last year, that means that this year is pretty darn good too. And 3 All-Stars, first time that's happened in MLB history. So either one that you'd pick obviously would be good. Um, but yeah, that was good to see Manny with that granny. I was not meaning to rhyme there, but there you go. But yeah, 7-2 win in game 1 of the series. Yesterday they lost. Wasn't able to watch a ton of this game just because of my work schedule, but a 4-2 loss. It seemed like Darvish could have been a little bit sharper with his execution, but I'm not going to speak too much on that because I wasn't watching every pitch of that outing. And I just can't speak too much to yesterday's game. I mean, I could just like go through the scoring plays, but you guys already know what happened, I assume. Lowe got Matsui for that 2-run homer, or the solo homer, excuse me. It was 3-2, then 4-2. Yeah, quick game, less than 2.5 hours yesterday. And then today's 8-1 win. Bogarts with the granny, Crony RBI double, Sheets RBI single, Diaz with the homer off Gore, and it's 8-0 in the third inning. And it's like, all right, well, I'm gonna keep the game on, and it's fun, but not competitive. But as a Padres fan, you're gonna take that every second of the day, right? But what I will say also, off the field, can the Padres blow out teams more often? Because that means we get Don and Mud on the broadcast being hilarious. Don ripping Nationals Park for building the stadium, and then we're like, oh wait, we got to add the press box here at the top. Let's put it on the 11th floor at Nationals Park. Put it higher than where they look out, they see the Capitol building. Yeah, we're higher than the Capitol building. I think Jesse has some digs at that on the radio side too, but I was listening to the TV broadcast this morning. But yeah, when the Padres can blow out teams like that, and you got Don and Mud in the booth, it makes for a great time. Hilarious. So Padres, not just because you want the blowout wins, because that's great, but also so that we can be entertained by Don and Mud. That would be great. Thank you, Padres. Sincerely, a Padres fan that loves listening to Don and Mud be happy. There were, if you didn't watch, I recommend go watch like from the 5th inning on. The game's over already, but just Don and Mud talking. It's funny. Um, anything else from this series that I'm just totally missing? Something that happened that stood out. Again, I wasn't able to watch every out, every inning of this series, so I'll be going off of you guys really for some of this. Nick Pivetta is something I wanted to hit on. He today continued to pitch really well, and so that was great to see. And he's been the Padres' best starting pitcher this season. He goes 6 innings, gives up just 1 run, punches out 5, walks only 1 guy. His ERA is 2.81. Love to see that. And then Hoeing and Alec Jacob there with no runs allowed in the final 3. Obviously, the game was already over, but love to see the no runs allowed. And still with the blowout, less than 3 hours game time, 2 hours and 46 minutes. It did seem like a hot one, 87 degrees. There was a lot of weather talk on the broadcast today. Um, yeah, other than that, like, I think just overall, we saw the talent show up in this series. It's great, to see like Bogarts have that granny, get some production from the catching position. Manny continue to swing. Um, yeah, Jackson Merrill shaved. That's something that I saw. Mr. Robot with the super chat. Thank you. And everyone, super chats, anyone that does that, very appreciated. Because this StreamYard that I went back to, because the company that I'm under with the podcast, they went over to Riverside. That's free for me, but I just didn't like it. I don't think that the sound, well, I know that the sound wasn't great because there were some complaints on that from listeners and viewers. And so I'd rather pay the money than have a, crappy quality. So I'm paying like $45 a month for this StreamYard just so you guys can probably hear me better, and there's the visual that's going to be better, and I can share the screen and all that stuff. So I'd appreciate any of those super chats. Don't have to. Like, I've got some money, but I'm just putting it out there. Mr. Robot with the super chat. Thank you for great Padres content. 3.5 games back. Can we overtake the Dodgers? Thoughts on the second half and AJ moves? Who are we going to pick up? Go Pods. Yeah. So first off, can we overtake the Dodgers? I was on a show or a podcast earlier this week, and he asked, Baseball PhD was the show, and he asked pretty much this question. And I said, well, I give the same answer to anyone that asks me that every year. It's the same thing this year. Can they? Yeah. Will they? I don't think so. Like the Dodgers, they've had injuries, and the Padres, if they play good baseball, they can be right there. But those head to head battles against the Dodgers, especially that last one, wasn't great. And so you got to play better against them and then take advantage when you're playing the bad teams, which they have. They've done a pretty good job this year. But also those teams that are contending teams, teams that are even just over 500, they have one of the, I thought I saw Kevin AC write this. They have one of the worst records in baseball against those teams that are over 500. So you're going to be facing those teams when it matters the most. So you got to be better. Got to be better there. And as they're healthier, right, as they get King back, I would hope that this will be better. A lot of one-run games. Kevin also wrote something. I don't have it right in front of me, but a lot of one-run games. So if they can get out of that and start, putting some more consistent run production up there, the pitching, for the most part, I feel like it's going to be solid. So if the offense can start scoring some more runs consistently, then they're going to be in a better spot, and I could see them hanging right in there with the Dodgers. Thoughts on the second half and AJ's moves? Well, there's probably so many scenarios and things that are in AJ Preller's brain. So I'm not going to attempt to, throw out names, too many names. I'll throw out some, but, Higgy, I don't know how realistic that is, but that's something that I'd like to see. Uh, Maybe that's just the biased, emotional Padres fan in me from what we saw last year because I'm not watching Higgy every day. But he still hit at Petco Park when he faced the Padres earlier this season, so there's that. Um, as for others, I mean, Jaron Duran keeps getting thrown out there, right? I think he's like a Jackson Merrill, an older Jackson Merrill type player. Just the mentality and everything like that. He does hit from the left side as well. Don't know if this would turn into like a bad fit for Petco Park thing, but if you put him in left field, good defensively, and that allows Gavin Sheets to just focus on hitting. Although I feel like with Gavin Sheets, with the work that he's put in left field, maybe the Padres feel less inclined to go after Duran because they're like, we can survive with Sheets out here in left. And what if there's a bat out there that doesn't play the outfield, but or can't play as good of left field as Sheets can? Sheets is now, weeks and weeks and weeks of playing out there in left field and getting more comfortable. Maybe we can go acquire a bat that's a better bat and maybe would cost less than even getting Jaron Duran in a trade. And we could put him at DH. Or we can use that position instead of having Sheets take that up, a lot of the time. We can use that position for like they did today with giving Bogey there at DH. And I think Manny was DHing the other day, maybe yesterday. I think yesterday. So, Gavin Sheets putting in the work. I think it puts a little bit less stress on Preller needing to go get like this, you know, or maybe overpay for someone like Jaron Duran. Um, if Jaron Duran was a Padre, I'd probably be ecstatic. Maybe it depends on what they give up to the Red Sox, but yeah, just the mentality thing with Duran is just something that I probably can't have enough of on this Padres team because he reminds me of Merrill a little bit. So thank you for that, much appreciated. Before getting to the rest of the chat, just want to shout out the other great partners of the show. Already hit on Breaking Tea, but Freestyle Cut and Stitch, if you're more of a basketball jersey person, you want to show off your personality with a custom basketball jersey, support the local San Diego brand, Freestyle Cut and Stitch. They've got a website. They're on Instagram as well. Check them out. Their Instagram has a lot of great visuals of Padres players wearing the basketball jerseys and what sort of designs that they have out there. If there's a design that you don't see on the site, you don't see on their Instagram, hit them up through their website or through Instagram, and they'll do their best to make that design for you, so that you can stand out in the crowd at Petco if you'd like. Um, Gagnon and Bros, famous cheesesteaks and garlic fries. Their main location is on Friars Road. You can check them out there. Their website is in the description, and they're at Petco Park, inside Snapdragon Stadium as well. SDFC drew with Vancouver over the weekend, a battle of 1-2. Could have been a handball that wasn't called again, but it is what it is. Anyway, yeah, Gaglione Bros, great cheesesteaks, garlic fries, cheesesteak fries, section 124 and 319 at Petco Park. And if you need to find a way to go to Petco Park, code Talking Friars for $20 off your first order when you sign up with your email. Same code, by the way, for Freestyle Cut and Stitch. 10, I think it's 10. I just want to make sure. I don't want to get this wrong for you guys. Do. I'll wait for it to come back along on the ticker. I believe it's 10% off any future order with the code Talking Friars for Freestyle Cut and Stitch. All right. While I wait for that, up next, the Padres, they go to Miami. So, sure, that's going to be an electric atmosphere. Not. There's probably going to be more Padres fans or more Machado jerseys in the stands than Marlins fans, though. I did see a report that the Marlins are not going to be trading Kyle Stowers, which is probably true for the moment, but like that could always change. Yeah. 10% off, by the way, Freestyle Cut and Stitch. Any future order with the code Talking Friars. How are the Marlins doing? Pretty crappy, huh? Like they always are. I mean, it's kind of what they deserve. Like they're not trying to win. 46-52. Yeah. Yuri Perez, Edward Cabrera on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Sandy Alcantara. That's going to be a like 9 a.m. game our time. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then a 4-game set in St. Louis before they come back home. So a long road trip to start off this post All-Star game calendar. The update that I saw on King, by the way, from I think it was Kevin Acey, was that his wife had their baby, so that's great news. He stayed back, wasn't with the team on the road trip, totally understandable. And I want to say he got a bullpen in. I think he was trying to do the up down of like 20 pitches, or maybe 20 and 20. Maybe it was just 20 pitches, but that was like the latest Michael King update was. And I know I didn't just give it to you exact because I'm just trying to remember the best. Let's see. Michael King. No, this one was from a week ago. I'm gonna try to find it real quick. Is it in his notes? Maybe. Oh no. Here's. I think this is one. Michael King update from July 14th. Oh, that's before the. It's like before the All Star game. Where is the King update? Okay, so Kevin said here. This was again like July 4th, 6 days ago. The anticipation is that King, who ranks sixth in the NL with a 2.59 ERA through his first 10 starts, will return in mid August. King said, I say it's like spring training because I feel fully healthy and need to build, but it's definitely a more accelerated mode than that. So the nerve impingement seems gone. He's just in the build up mode, like he would as if he's starting a season again, but a little bit more accelerated. Trying to see, yeah, I don't think there's got to be a later King update that I'm just not seeing. All right, let's get to the chat here. Kenny says, "Is Bogart still considered a bust contract, or has he improved?" I think a lot of fans will still say like it's a terrible contract and probably worst contract in Padres history because it's longer and more money than Hosmer's contract, right? Um, I thought I saw someone post, and maybe this was wrong and they were just trolling, but I thought I saw someone post before the All Star break that Bogarts and Hosmer's numbers, like Hos is actually better through his first however many games than Bogarts was. Um, but again, that's just from something that for some reason I feel like I remember seeing that. But has he improved? Yes. I think that recently, for sure, you can see his impact more offensively. Still don't expect, big power numbers from him, but yeah, I think he's definitely provided more of an impact than earlier on in the season. Yeah. Well, when he's playing better, yeah, it's fun. It's more fun to watch him play. Oh, Kenny's from Western Canada. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. David asks, how do you all feel about trading for Luis Robert Jr. and Corey Lee? I love that trade personally. I did see that get floated out there. Like the Padres, they have shown interest in Corey Lee. I think he's a San Diego guy, but he's the AAA catcher for the White Sox. So are you just trading for another Camposano? Because if you are, is that really worth it? Luis Robert Jr. For him, I feel like the White Sox are going to want a lot, and he's had a pretty big injury history. So I'm not like sure he's talented, but I don't know. I just and I can't totally pinpoint it. I think part of it definitely is the injuries. I want to acquire someone. If you're going to spend money or not money, spend prospect capital to make a big trade like this, I want it to be like someone that I know is going to be healthy and you know they're not hitting 201 with a 77 OPS plus on the season. That's what Robert Jr. is doing, by the way. Because I think Luis Robert Jr. is like a big name still in baseball. You ask a national baseball fan, they'll know who that guy is. You think of someone on the White Sox right now, it's probably him. But he's got a .5 WAR this year, a 201 average. He's a well below average baseball player this year. So, do I really want to go acquire him? And where is he? What you're going to put him in left field when Gavin Sheets has actually done pretty well out there? Uh, you could probably just go get a better hitter and someone who probably has better chances of being healthy. I'm just not that high on him. He had like that really good year, right? And then, but that was, yeah, 2023, 5.3 WAR, and then last year 1.4, and then point 0.5. He hasn't played 145 games since that 2023 season. Played 100 last year. So far, he's at 81, which is definitely the majority of the games this year, to be fair. But the numbers aren't great. Irie asks if you had to give up one of the horsemen, one of the four horsemen, for 3 years of Durant or someone around his level, who would it be? If you want 3 years of a major league player, you got to give up something good. I mean, who would it be? I'd probably pick Suarez because he could be gone after this season anyway. Is that fair to say? Maybe some people would pick Estrada because he's not the All Star, but Estrada's under control. So that, and I'm not even really thinking too deep about it. Like that's an interesting question. Um, that's just what my gut would say. Like, can Adam close games for you? Can Morahone pitch in big spots? Can Estrada? Like, I think so. And you could go get another big reliever too. Would I do that for Duran? Probably not. Like in the postseason, I want that bullpen to be as stacked as possible because starters, I want it to be okay. If you go 5 great innings for us, and we can go 6, 7, 8, 9 with those four guys. I know there's matchups, and it can't always go like that, but if you can, that would be great. So I'd like to stack up the bullpen. So I probably wouldn't do that, but that's the question that you asked. Let me look at Jaron Duran's season real quick. 259 average, 752 OPS, 16 stolen bases, 50 RBI. Okay, so let's compare that to like, now that's baseball reference. So that's not through today, that's entering today, I think. But you get the point. Let's compare that to Manny. He's got 60 RBIs. Obviously, Manny, much better season than Duran this year. But I'm just looking at like driving runs in. Tatis is 42, 22 stolen bases, 16 home runs. Like Duran, the power hasn't quite been there this year, but it still looks like he's been an impactful player. 2.4 WAR, above average OPS plus, plays every day. He's got 99 games already. He's got speed, so that's an attractive guy for sure. All right, that's gonna do it. Talking for hours here on a Sunday night. Thank you for the time, much appreciated. Hopefully everyone is enjoying me being back on the StreamYard side of things with the audio. Hopefully the audio is much better. The visual. Um, you guys deserve better than what was happening with that audio situation. So I apologize for that. But have a great rest of your night, and I'll talk to y'all later.